Spectrum News has team coverage of the deadly gas explosion. Our Ryan Breslin is outside of Duke Regional Hospital. David Ivy is monitoring the developments from a residential complex near the blast zone. And we begin now with our Chris Williams in downtown Durham, the scene of today's deadly explosion. Chris, what can you tell us?
Well, Tara, it is still a very active scene, and we have made our way closer to that blast site. Take a look behind me. You can see the impact of that explosion. The windows are blown out of this nearby building. The frame has been bent inwards into it. You can see it, and this is just an example of the other buildings that you would see near this blast site. Now, I spent the day talking with witnesses and people who work in the area. They are shocked and devastated that this happened.
We just heard a really loud boom.
Scary moments Wednesday for many people who work near the blast site.
We didn't know quite what to make of it. The building shook and the lights went off temporarily, so we decided to evacuate.
Flames raged as heavy black smoke rose and hovered over the Brightleaf Square area of Durham.
We heard a big explosion. Next thing you know, you see smoke and debris fly, and you hear people screaming, and you hear sirens going off.
The whole street rattled. And we all ducked thinking something blew up. Well, we were like, all we saw was big puff.
Police ordered people to evacuate the area as they closed many surrounding roads. At first, people didn't know what happened.
After that, of course, everyone was confused. And all that we could see from the street is that cars were stopped and whatnot.
Bystanders crowded the police tape trying to get a glimpse of the scene and learn any details. Now that they know what happened, some say they feel uneasy about returning to the area once it's all cleared.
Probably be a little bit concerned, but yeah, I mean, I work down here. Things like this happen, unfortunately, but I don't think it's gonna ruin my life or anything.
It is obvious that cleanup here is going to take days. Police have blocked off the area, telling people not to come to the Brightleaf Square area for the time being. They do have many roads closed off. No word on how long that will last. In Durham, Chris Williams, Spectrum News.
Let's see it in practice.
There's no burying the hatchet at Durham's latest spot. Urban Access is about to open. It's the only bar in the Bull City where you can chug a beer and then take a swing at axe throwing.
So the goal is to hit a bullseye, just like in darts, but you each throw 5 axes, and then you tap axes and switch sides, throw 5 axes again, tap axes and switch sides.
Brewskis and blades, what could possibly go wrong? But the owners say there's nothing to worry about.
No one is allowed to throw intoxicated. A coach is with you the whole time. You are assessed for alcohol at several points through the process.
Fences border every station to catch those stray axes from people with bad aim like myself.
What I say is it's an adult activity. We're 21 and up.
Coaches will also guide you, and I gave it a try. One more time. Okay, so I missed the mark, but once I got my form down and my mind cleared, I got the hang of it. So why did Urban Access pick Durham to open shop?
So it's got a great local scene, tons of breweries, which is kind of part of our culture.
A new way of targeting the bullseye in the Bull City. In Durham, Chris Williams, Spectrum News. A driver and his 2 passengers are okay after their car slammed into a downed tree here on Johnson Pond Road. You can still see the skid marks, and above it you can see the tree limbs, all showing a dangerous morning commute. Our Spectrum News drone captured the aftermath of a driver slamming head-on into a downed tree. It happened on Johnson Pond Road around 6 Monday morning before daybreak. Chris Lyons was behind the wheel with his girlfriend and their 2-year-old son in tow.
I was going up this road. Some guy put his high beams on, flashed me twice. By the time I realized it, pretty much ended up hitting the tree.
He and his family didn't get hurt, but the crash left skid marks in the car undrivable. There's damage to the front end along with a busted windshield.
Front bumper's kind of bent and windshield wipers cracked a little bit.
Hours before, Jason Dunnigan with Wake County Maintenance used his chainsaw to clear another tree along that same road.
It's been a quiet night so far, up until around 4, and then we got 3 tree calls in about 30 minutes.
He and his crew quickly came with more chainsaws and a backhoe to remove the fallen tree and other debris. Just before the sun came up, he had a warning for drivers.
Obviously at night, just make sure you you're paying attention because you could drive up on one pretty easy.
A hard lesson Lyons had to learn.
Really be careful what's going on, especially because of weather and stuff, and it's kind of wet out here, so I slid for a long time.
Authorities say what happened here is a reminder for drivers to be on the lookout, take it slow when they hear reports of downed trees, and pay attention to any road signs. In Fuquay Varina, Chris Williams, Spectrum News. Happy birthday to you. 15-year-old Amia Mitchell got the biggest birthday present from Durham County last month. Commissioners awarded her a proclamation for saving her cousin's life.
I want to say thank you for everything.
In late March, Amia and her cousin Zariah were playing outside at McDougal Terrace. Police say a gunman opened fire in a drive-by shooting. A bullet hit 14-year-old Zariah in the upper chest.
I didn't even know I was shot. And Tamia, she came and grabbed my shoulder. She was like, "Zah." I'm like, "What?" She like, "Zah." I'm like, "What?" She like, "You hit."
Amia quickly made a tourniquet to stop the bleeding.
Hold the pressure. Take off my jacket, what I had on, and then just hold it.
She held onto her cousin as the family rushed Zariah to the hospital.
Because I was seeing black dots. I thought I was going to die.
I was like shaking, but I knew what to do, so I had to do it fast.
Amia learned what to do after the teens took the Stop the Bleed campaign days before the shooting. The course teaches people how to quickly treat injuries.
It's really empowering them to do something, giving them the skills so they feel comfortable enough to go into action.
Meanwhile, Zariah is making a full recovery.
Yes, I feel better now.
Amia is now a part of Bull City United, an advocacy group calling for an end to gun violence.
Education really plays a major factor when it comes to combating gun violence.
A close call this teen hopes will serve as a wake-up call to protect lives.
Sometimes I still cry a little bit when I think about it.
In Durham, Chris Williams, Spectrum News. The family is okay. This is where the bullet hit their home. Now, the gunman is still on the loose, but many here believe this was a case of mistaken identity.
I think they got the wrong neighborhood altogether.
Avante Penny remains confused after waking up to a bullet hole in his parents' home Monday.
I was surprised because it's a very peaceful neighborhood. Nothing goes on out here.
The bullet entered the house right below the first floor ceiling. The family asleep the entire time.
My mama had woke me up and she said, "Come here." And that's when she had seen the hose.
Deputies say they later recovered 12 shell casings up and down Lizzie Lane. Investigators took them as evidence for testing. They're reviewing surveillance cameras from Penny's home. Some neighbors tell Spectrum News the shooting has them fired up, believing the gunman had the wrong target. They say this is a peaceful community with many children.
It was scary to wake up in the middle of the night and know that I had to go check on my babies to make sure no bullet came through the wall.
But so far, no one we talk with plans to move.
I'm not going nowhere. I'm not going to let no bullet scare me.
Penny says he'll stay put too.
I got faith in God. He was with us that night. He's always going to be with us.
Deputies say the investigation continues. We'll keep you updated with any new information. In Orange County, Chris Williams, Spectrum News.